Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I'm Naja'at Tijani. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news from Japan. Automobile manufacturing giant, the Toyota Company of Japan, has agreed in principle to establish an assembly plant in Nigeria. This follows a request by President Muhammadu Buhari in Yokohama after a courtesy visit by representatives of the company led by the Chief Executive Officer and President Ichiro Kashitani. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Buhari also extracted a commitment to Nigeria by the Japan Bank for International Cooperation.
The visit by the Toyota Company of Japan to President Muhammadu Buhari is coming barely 24 hours after Prime Minister Shinzo Abe assured him of his resolve to support Japanese companies expand their businesses and investments in Africa. The Chief Executive Officer of the company, Ichiro Kashitani, had told the president that although Toyota has assembly plants in 2 other African countries, it cannot afford to ignore Nigeria as the biggest market on the continent. To do that, however, Mr. Kashitani said greater involvement by the Nigerian government is key.
And the reason why they want the government involvement in that is because if they open up an assembly plant, they want to stop the importation of used cars. And of course, the issue there in stopping the importation of used cars to make it possible for Nigerian consumers to be able to afford cars, we have to revisit our whole lending system, credit system in the country, and and to have at least a mortgage system, where the average Nigerian can be able to, buy on hire purchase. So that was good. They were, they were keen to have this conversation with Mr. President to get some reassurance and, of course, to get some government buy-in.
President Muhammadu Buhari also met with officials of the Bank for International Cooperation of Japan, led by Deputy Governor Nobumitsu Hayashi. During the meeting, the bank has indicated interest in funding critical projects to be executed by Japanese companies in various sectors of the Nigerian economy, especially oil and gas, power, and infrastructure.
They were very complimentary about Mr. President and his economic policies, making Nigeria an easier place to do business and trying to tackle the security challenges in the country. They said they have a lot of financial resources, and it's really just a question of Nigerian government giving them the opportunity to expand. That there are a lot of Japanese businesses that want to come into Africa, and that they're willing and ready and able to invest more in Nigeria.
So how does the Nigerian government feel about all this?
Very, very well, because as Mr. President said, our need is great. We have a huge infrastructure deficit, so we have to, build and build, We have also what he calls the capacity for absorption.
Also on the margins of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development here in Yokohama, President Muhammadu Buhari has granted audience to the Prime Minister of Algeria, Noureddin Bedoui. Discussions centered on various areas of collaboration and cooperation between Nigeria and Algeria, especially with regards to the gas subsector of the petroleum industry.
Algeria is now, third largest gas producer, or at least has in terms of reserves, the second or third in the world, and a lot of experience and expertise. And so we're looking at greater cooperation between Nigeria and Algeria in that field. And the Prime Minister also raised the possibility of gas pipeline across the Sahara through to into Algeria. Of course, Mr. President pointed out that we're already looking at those possibilities, one along the coastline going around to the north of Africa, and one across the Sahara, and then also a trans-Sahara highway, which is actually almost complete. Into Algeria, across to Nigeria. It stopped at the moment in Niger, and there's just a small stretch that needs to be completed.
If the promotion of foreign direct investment in Nigeria is the essence of its multilateral engagements, then without doubt, here in Japan, President Muhammadu Buhari has made a very good case to the nation's potential partners. This is also an indication that his initiatives on making Nigeria a more friendly country to invest in is yielding the desired results. From Yokohama, Japan, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum as he clocks the golden age of 50. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Governor Zulum, who is on the presidential delegation to the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 7 in Yokohama, Japan, received a goodwill message from the President. President Buhari wishes him good health, long life and strength to serve his people dutifully, having been inaugurated as governor May 29th this year. Professor Zulum, an academic and politician, holds a PhD in soil and water engineering and was Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement under the Kashim Shettima administration. Stakeholders on peace and security in Nigeria are unanimous on the domestication and implementation of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 on the Youth, Peace and Security Agenda to achieve sustainable peace and development. This was their stand at a stakeholders conference on the UN resolution in Abuja. Hamman Jabani reports.
The United Nations Security Council at its 75th, 73rd meeting in 2015 adopted the Resolution 2250, recognizing the important and positive contribution of youths in maintaining and promoting peace and security, as well as threats to stability and development posed by the rise of radicalism among youths. It is in the light of this that the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution and the Center for Sustainable Development and Education in Africa brought stakeholders under one roof to brainstorm as member states to consider the framework that will provide ways voice of youth could be heard. It also seeks to set up mechanisms that will enable youth participate meaningfully in peace processes and dispute resolution.
Obviously, it is the youth that will be at the vanguard of making sure that peace building and peace building efforts are maintained.
This is what the resolution is trying to let everyone know, that young people are not the problem. Young people should be seen as part of the solution.
National security today, as it is citizen-centered and requires the whole of national approach and the entire spectrum of civil military relations.
The participants are expected to come up with an action plan for the implementation and its domestication at all levels in the country. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development has unveiled a 5-year strategy plan to assist Nigeria meet her obligations as committed in an open government partnership signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in London. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Nigeria, like other countries, is being confronted by socioeconomic challenges. This trend, economic researchers and analysts believe, is responsible for underdevelopment of third world countries. Now, African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development is presenting a 7-chapter strategy plan document designed to chart a roadmap for a long-term development addressing challenges in different aspects of the economy.
Even if you have a good leader without a strategy, there's no way such leader can deliver development. We are here to change that narrative and to take a stand that a new Nigeria is possible and a new Africa is also possible.
The Center is of the opinion that through adequate collaborations and continuous advocacy, government will appreciate and incorporate the strategy plan in its development policies for leadership capacity building, management information system monitoring and development. It also has the mechanism to check loss of revenue through cybercrimes and other forms of corruption.
It's a call to every Nigerian to actually sit down and just ask, what will be my contribution to this country?
The 2019-2023 strategy plan is a product of the review of the 2013-2017 plan, which addresses shortcomings of long-term projects, funding and other issues. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Let's join our Lagos Network Center for more updates. Jennifer Igwe is our guide. It's good to see you, Jennifer.
Welcome to Lagos. Now, the Federal Ministry of Works has put in place partial diversion plans to guarantee movement of vehicles ahead of a major construction work at the Kara end of the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. The ministry wants the contractor handling the project to expedite action at this section of the road, as this section of the road must be fully open before the Yuletide season. Michael Olaleye reports.
The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is a strategic gateway to the busiest trade corridor in West Africa, with about 10,000 vehicles plying this route on a daily basis, in a bid to facilitate the seamless movement of motorists. The highway is undergoing reconstruction, and the Bega-Kara section will experience major rehabilitation from next week, which definitely will affect traffic flow. The Federal Ministry of Works is already planning in this direction, as traffic will be diverted into at least 2 lanes on both carriageways, while traffic diversion signs and symbols have been provided at interval for easy navigation.
From the end of that Kara bridge up to this gantry, that is the first 600 meters. And then once we finish that stretch, we move over to the inbound Shagamu. Then we move traffic to outbound Lagos. The diversion is such that you can take 2 vehicles at the same time.
Other traffic management agencies called for caution and advised motorists against violating traffic rules.
We are at the critical section of this corridor, but I can assure you that nobody is going to sleep on this section. There is going to be adequate deployment of personnel and resources.
We have made arrangements to position some towing vehicles on ground to move any disabled vehicle off our road, because we have a section that is now, probably broken into 2, in a way that you have 2 lanes to and fro.
The reconstruction of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which was awarded in 2013, is expected to be completed within the next 2 years. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Now, funding children's program content remains paramount in promoting and projecting Nigeria's culture as against Western ideologies that have dominated digital space. These and more were the submission of stakeholders at the concluding session of the 4th International Digital Broadcast Media Convention in Lagos. Amaka Owo reports.
It is the view of some broadcast practitioners that foreign culture is gradually infiltrating into the minds of the Nigerian child as foreign content dominates the global digital space. This forum has created opportunity for deliberations to address this challenge.
This is the right time and urgently to intervene in the Nigerian children content and propagate the Nigerian ideology.
So they are forcing down on our throat, on the throat of our children, content that is already tailored for their own future, way ahead of time. And that is not what we are doing.
Broadcast content providers and technology experts have also harped on the need to bridge the existing gaps in radio broadcasting, especially traditional radio as well as digital radio.
Any content creator that is not creative in his own mind is going for extinction.
Internet is not free, so for a lot of people, it might be a challenge, that to stream audio content 24 hours is expensive.
Other operators, including those from the government, advocate reducing monopoly, dearth in infrastructure in the digital broadcasting space.
We know about. There are other ways that we can transmit our signals via IPTV, OTT.
Industry players also call for active action for better content and technology. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
And to the environment, land use policies and town planning are major determinants on the possibility of managing flooding in flood-prone areas. These were the submissions of experts while preferring solutions to the menace of flooding in Lagos. Awal Yusuf Jibo tells us more.
Effective adaptation to rising flood issues, such as building underground tunnels, especially in flood-prone areas, have been described as effective methods of combating flooding.
Lagos being on the lower side of the map would have any effect coming from the River Niger and River Benue will have serious effect in the deltaic area and the coastal plain sands.
Environmental experts further explained that flooding is caused by inadequate capacity within the banks of rivers to contain the high flows brought down from the upper catchments due to heavy rainfall.
An underground tunnel where water could come in, travel, and similar to what obtains in, say, the Netherlands.
People do construct in floodplain, places that are not supposed to be constructed in because they block flow of rainwater, for example, which we know is one of the natural causes of flooding.
Apart from loss of life and damage to property, experts say it harbors insecurity and fear in the minds of people living in floodplains, which poses a threat to national development.
So the citizens must first change their ways, their attitude to the environment, because when there is flooding, the most affected are the citizens.
It was therefore agreed that a multidisciplinary approach should be applied to tackling the dangers of flooding in the country. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jabo, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this commercial break.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is village master tune.
Eh? So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village master is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Master family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our golden jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
Thanks for staying with NTA Nationwide. Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello has emerged winner of the All Progressives Congress primary contest, having beaten 9 other aspirants. Correspondent Solomon Ayedein reports that the primary election took place at the Confluence Stadium, Lokoja.
Security was tight as 3,838 All Progressives Congress delegates filed out to cast their ballot to determine the party's flag bearer in the state governorship primary. 10 aspirants, including Governor Yahaya Bello, contested for the position of clinching the party's ticket. After several hours of voting monitored by INEC officials, APC officials from Abuja, and agents of the aspirants, sorting and counting of ballot papers followed immediately. The returning officer and chairman, Kogi State APC Primary Electoral Committee, Jigawa State Governor Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, declared the result as follows.
Yahaya Bello, 3,091. This is to certify that Yahaya Bello, having scored the highest number of votes cast, is hereby declared winner.
Babatunde Irukera, who came second, polled 109 votes, while Hassan Abdullahi came third with 44 votes. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress felicitates with the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, as he turns 50. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Isa Onilu, acknowledged challenges facing Borno State and also commended the sense of duty, energy, courage and proactive approach of Governor Zulum towards militating against the challenges within his short stay in office. The party expressed confidence that Governor Zulum's understanding of the issues and steps to address the devastation caused by Boko Haram insurgency will put the state on the path of sustainable development. Meanwhile, sequel to Nigeria's resolve to reduce visa fees paid by United States citizens, the visa issuing agency has complied with the directive by the federal government. Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Muhammad Babandede, said this after an evaluation of the service by Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
The similarities and leadership role played by Nigeria and the United States in global and regional affairs have over the years defined their bilateral relationship. The Nigerian government recently approved a reduction in price for visa by U.S. citizens from $180 to $160, a development that the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria said may lead to the review of the reciprocity fee for approved visa to the U.S. Already, the Nigerian Immigration Service has commenced implementation of the order.
It's the Minister of Interior who has the power to determine visa fee by our act. Based on the power conferred on him, he has asked me to reduce the visa fee for Americans to $160. This has been done, it's on our website. And I assure you that any American who applies for visa will be issued after paying of only $160.
On the 78 Nigerians involved in fraudulent activities in the U.S., the immigration boss said stringent measures have been taken.
We are able to have access to Interpol database information 24/7 in a week, which is called I-247. This is an opportunity for us as an agency of government that is in charge of mobility and migration to make sure that any criminal who is globally wanted by any country whose name has been put into Interpol database cannot come to our territory, cannot reside in our territory, cannot be able to do business in our territory.
The Comptroller General re-emphasized that there is no hiding place for criminals and that their actions do not represent what Nigeria stands for. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a statement from the United States Embassy in Nigeria says it looks forward to receiving official diplomatic communication regarding the new visa fee schedule for Americans seeking Nigerian visas. Until such a time and confirmation of implementation, the reciprocity fees for approved visas to the United States will remain in place. The World Health Organization has restated its confidence in Nigeria being certified polio-free, a polio-free country by next year. The WHO Senior Representative and Member National Polio-Free Certification Committee, Dr. Tena Namwangi, said this during a visit to the Emir of Dutse in Jigawa State. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
Dr. Tana Namwangi, who led a team of international health organizations to Jigawa State, the only state in Nigeria that has the highest immunization and vaccine coverage against childhood killer diseases, polio, measles, whooping cough and tuberculosis, among others, says immunization and vaccination are two most important public health interventions that can seize cost-effective strategy to reduce both morbidity and mortality associated with infectious diseases among children in the country. The WHO representative says concerted efforts of a broad array of vaccine advocates, which include traditional and religious leaders, parents' cooperation, and health workers' resilience, has enabled Nigeria to achieve 3 years without polio outbreak since the last one at Kondiga in Borno State in 2016. With the current achievements, according to him, Nigeria is on the verge of being certified as polio-free country.
All the effort that you've been making in the past year just means that we have to continue those activities to sustain it. The other issue is also to use the same structure, not only to focus on polio or AFP, but also to ensure that our surveillance system around all the vaccine preventable diseases, measles, yellow fever, meningitis, continue.
The Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sunusi, assured the visiting health team that his emirate will continue to do more in complementing the federal government's effort in building a healthy and prosperous nation for the good of all citizens. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
We apologize for the poor visuals there. It's due to a technical hitch. And now let's join Chinenye in Enugu for more reports.
Nigeria Atu, and welcome to Enugu. Tackling insecurity in the society requires proper deployment of security apparatus, wisdom and commitment on the part of the leadership. Speaking during a visit to the Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, the prelate, Methodist Church Nigeria, His Eminence, Dr. Samuel Uche, expressed confidence that Enugu State government has all it takes to overcome the security challenges currently facing it. Susan Eze has the details.
Disturbed by the current security challenges in the state, the prelate expressed delight over the recruitment, training and equipment of 1,700 forest guards and other vigilance groups by the state government to ensure there is no hiding place for criminal elements in the state. He described this as a right step in the right direction. Stressing the need for youth empowerment, the Methodist prelate enjoined Governor Ugwuanyi to totally return mission schools to the church for moral and spiritual upbringing of the youth.
If we acquire entrepreneurial skills, it will have a multiplier effect on the development of the state, and crime rate will reduce, because these people will add to the economy of the state.
Grateful for the prayers of the church for the government, Governor Ugwuanyi urged the prelate not to relent in speaking out in defense of the voiceless in the society.
I will urge you to continue to inspire patriotism, national, constitutional leadership, and responsible citizenship for sustainable peace, unity, and national development, consistent with the mandate of the church.
Accompanied by other church leaders, including Archbishop Chris Ede, the Methodist prelate, Dr. Samuel Uche, is on a tour of the Enugu Methodist Archdiocese. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The Governing Board of Project Development Institute, PRODA, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his commitment to the diversification of the nation's economy through agriculture, science and technology, which it says has led to the increased funding for the institute to effectively carry out research and development. The board's chairman, Daniel Onje, made this known while briefing journalists at the end of the board's meeting in Enugu. Jude Abugu now reports.
During its inaugural meeting and first facility tour of the complex in 2018, members of the board recalled that they received a series of complaints and appeals bordering on career stagnation, dearth of training programs, acute infrastructural deficit, and gross underfunding. However, they noted at the end of the meeting that all issues concerning promotion, staff capacity building, and welfare has been addressed. The chairman highlighted some of the areas the board is giving priority attention to include revival of Proda Staff School, upgrading of road network within the complex, and ultramodern e-library, among others.
We intend to commence the setting up of our zonal offices in each of the 6 geopolitical zones and
on the progress being made towards completion of its pencil project, the Director General said the project will rely on 100% local raw materials, while some production accessories and manpower development are being expected for the smooth takeoff of the pencil production.
But what I want to assure you is that before the end of the year, the installation of these equipment that we just purchased for use waste paper would have been done.
Other projects by the Institute, as enumerated by the chairman, include lithium-ion battery research, smokeless coal biomass briquettes, and establishment of Proda Technical College. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
As part of efforts in ensuring quality teaching and learning in nomadic education, the National Commission for Nomadic Education has organized a 3-day workshop on capacity development for members of Nomadic School-Based Management Committee in the Southeast Zone. Nena Igwe reports.
76 participants were drawn from 5 states in the Southeast. Representing the board chairman, Professor Gidado Tahil, says the program is aimed at promoting teaching and learning, especially in nomadic schools, as well as bridging the gap between government schools and the communities.
This workshop is organized to ensure that the skills and competence of the SMRC are shepherded to effectively perform their responsibilities as agents of social change.
The Director of Social Mobilization, Professor Mohammed El Nafai, Executive Secretary Professor Bashir Usman, said the workshop will reduce the increasing number of out-of-school children and encourage more pupils' enrollment.
Strategy to a great extent accelerate the process of out-of-school children, OOS, especially as it relates to nomadic education program.
The resource person advised participants to put the skills into practice for effective delivery.
The aim of the workshop is to give them capacity to be able to deliver on the job in their various nomadic schools.
Some of the participants described the workshop as timely. The Southeast training preceded the North-South training built to take place in Gombe State. In Enugu, Nena Igwe, NTA News.
And that is our contribution from Enugu. We'll now join our Sokoto Network Center, where Asmau is standing by with more reports from that zone. Hello, Asmau. It's over to you.
Hello, Chinenye. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar has commended clerics world over for preaching of peace and other Islamic ideals in promoting unity and progress in the society. The Sultan made the commendation when he received President of the United Kingdom Humanitarian Foundation and co-founder of Islamic Relief Worldwide, Dr. Hani Abdul Gawad Al-Banna, who visited him at the palace. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar described humanitarian gesture as an important tool that keeps unity, peace and stability among the people. He challenged governments at all levels to partner with agencies that are out to help humanity. He called for more enlightenment of the people on the dangers of cutting down trees, advocating for lasting solution to afforestation.
We are very, very committed to seeing through Islamic ideals, principles in whatever we do in our lives.
Dr. Hani Al-Banna appreciated the efforts of the Sultan in promoting peace and unity among ethnic groups in Nigeria.
We brought about nearly 25 or 30 organizations from different parts of Nigeria to discuss resilience, to discuss climate change, to discuss what's happening to us in Nigeria, especially for the areas of conflict.
He acknowledged the effort of the Sultan in assisting the less privileged and vulnerable groups in the society. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Hundreds of Fulani people who fled Zamfara state due to spate of insecurity are now massively returning to the state. Some groups of Fulani women stated this when they visited wife of the Zamfara state governor, Haji Abdulkisu Bello Muhammad, to express their happiness over the return of peace to the state as a result of the ongoing dialogue initiative. Salamatu Umar reports.
Over 1,000 Fulani women recently converged at the residence of the wife of Zamfara State Governor Haji Abdulkisu Bello to express their gratitude at the effort made by the present administration to tackle insecurity in the state. Some of the Fulani women who spoke said they left the state due to the issue of killings, kidnapping and cattle rustling, but now they have returned home and are going on with their normal businesses. The initiator of the Fulani Women Association, Aisha Abdugusau, said there is urgent need for the state government to reconstruct the already destroyed Fulani schools in their villages. Wife of the Zamfara State Governor Haji Abdulkisu Bello said her husband has promised to bring back all Fulanis who have migrated to other neighboring states due to the past insecurity in the state. The wife of the governor later donated clothing materials and cash to the Fulani women to show her gratitude to them for the visit. From Gusau, Salamatu Umar Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. The news will continue with Naja'atu in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Change, they say, is dynamic. Imagine a future in Nigeria where automobiles are electric rather than fossil fuel ones. Well, that narrative is gradually becoming a reality, and Nigerian engineers are preparing for that, with the Nigerian Society of Engineers making the theme for its 2019 Engineering Week, Energy Evolution in the 21st Century, the role of the Nigerian engineer. Ruth Agwele tells us more.
For the past 5 years, Yakubu Sharif Akonji has been working on this quad cycle that uses electric energy, a fifth design prototype. His desire is to promote Made in Nigeria electric automobile for sustainable renewable energy.
It was born out of aligning ourselves with the program campaign on global climate warming. Hopefully, from this open vehicle, we are hoping we could, we are hoping to build going to luxury vehicle manufacturing too, as time goes on.
And just like Yakubu, these young engineers at the 2019 Engineering Week are being challenged to hone their skills by tapping into global technological trends and explore opportunities for the country to transit to renewable and sustainable energy, which experts believe are more efficient, cost-effective, and enhance health benefits.
Many countries in the world are beginning to phase out the production of conventional vehicles, and they are moving into electric vehicles.
And Nigeria is one of the highest consumers of cars. We need to create awareness. We need to inform the masses to also get conscious of this issue.
More people are believing that electric vehicle is doable. It is something engineers have keyed into.
It is the belief here that encouraging local manufacturers and inventors like Yakubu will promote the production of electric vehicles in the country, which will create more job opportunities, control emission through policies that will provide the basic infrastructure. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NT News.
Gombe State has commenced the implementation of Best Education Service Delivery for All, an initiative of the federal government aimed at taking more than 13 million out-of-school children in the country back to school. Emmanuel Akila reports.
A new narrative on the direction of education development in Nigeria. The federal government working to reverse the disturbing statistics of education backwardness in the country with a new initiative of Best Education Service Delivery for All, BESTA. The community engagement meeting in view of household mapping, listing and enumeration of out-of-school children in Gombe State marks the commencement of the implementation of BESTA in the state.
If an Alarama or Sheikh has children in this place, let him know
that will provide them with school uniform, will provide them with school shoes, will provide them with the basics that they need, the learning materials, and we shall make sure that their welfare is taken care of.
The government raises internal funds for this purpose and also enjoys the support of international partnership.
Education is one of the key priorities for us in Nigeria and globally also. And when it comes to Nigeria, we see unacceptable level of children out of school.
States like Gombe, who quickly key into the initiative, have become early beneficiaries of the first tranche of World Bank intervention to mop up out-of-school children from the streets. PESDA, together with UNICEF, would begin the exercise of determining the actual number of out-of-school children in the state by visiting families and the Sangaya, where Al-Majiris receive Islamic education with a view of taking the out-of-school children back to the classrooms. In Gombe, I am Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Similarly, in Abia State, Governor Victor Ikpeazu has inaugurated a cottage hospital and a rural electricity project in Obohia, Iberi community of Ukwano local government area of the state to improve the living standard of the people. Chinyere Okoli reports.
Before now, the people of Obohia Bibere in Ukwano local government area in Abia State travel over 5 miles to access medical care in Umuahia, Jebese capital, due to the collapse of the only cottage hospital which was built in 1984. But now, there is a sign of relief courtesy of the member representing Ukwano Umuahia Federal constituency in the National Assembly, Sam Onibo, who took it up as his constituency project. He expressed optimism that the rehabilitation made will help in addressing the healthcare challenges of the people.
We're also working on a road that will pass from Okwe through Obohia to carry in Akwa Ibom.
Inaugurating the facilities, the governor of Abia State, Dr. Okezi Ikpeazu, who was represented by his deputy, Saude Okachukwu, commended the facilitator and urged the people of the community to guard the facilities against the activities of vandals.
All our representatives, both at the federal level and at the state level, to at all times continue to collaborate with the necessary agencies towards bringing the needed dividend of democracy to our people.
The facilities will address the health needs of the people from Obohia Obibere, in Ukwano and 8 neighboring communities. In Umuahia, Chinyere Okoli, NTA News.
The FCT Police Command says it has commenced discreet investigation into the explosive materials used for quarry mining and rock blasting intercepted on Wednesday by a joint team of police operatives from the command's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and Nyanya Police Division at the Baba Nagode Motor Park in Nyanya. A statement issued by the police public relations officer, DSP Anjuguri Mansa, adds that as part of the investigation process, one Hamisu Abba, Suleiman Hamid Onu Sunday, and Angwan Bulus have been arrested in connection with the authorized movement of the materials. The suspects have been transferred to the Command Criminal Investigation Department for discreet investigation. In the meantime, members of the public are advised to go about their lawful activities as adequate security measures have been put in place by the command to protect lives and property in the Federal Capital Territory. The 2019 Interpol Week has ended in Abuja with a call on law enforcement officers to make a difference in their respective agencies. Francis Form reports that the police and the Nigeria Immigration Service are synergizing to advance effective and efficient border security and migration management.
This 528 participants are drawn from different law enforcement agencies. Their mission is to make Nigeria and the world a safer place. In the last 3 days, the participants were exposed to the uses of I-247 Interpol code, which connects all law enforcement agencies the world over to emerging trends in the fight against crime and criminality. Of major concern is the role of the National Central Bureau in coordinating law enforcement agencies, combating corruption and money laundering, illegal migration and the menace of trafficking in persons. This, the Inspector General of Police believes, will address the challenges of insecurity bedeviling the country.
This will in no small measure assist you to fully utilize the tools and capabilities of Interpol, National Central and Bureau towards attending your individual agency's mandate in our common drive towards enhancing internal, regional, and global security.
At the point of entry, we should be able to connect to I-247 so that if such persons are wanted globally, or they have a lost passport, or a stolen passport, or a forged passport, we should be able to soon know because there's a global police tool.
The organizers believe that the presentation of Interpol Code I-247 to the Nigeria Immigration Service will further strengthen the security architecture of the country.
You cannot do any policy without sharing information, and that is the essence of bringing all the law enforcement agencies together.
Similarly, a nationwide vision screening exercise was flagged off for police personnel as part of Inspector General of Police awareness strategy of staying healthy to secure the nation. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The fact that ending all forms of violence against women and girls is not only a basic human right, but seen to be a critical step in attaining sustainable development is prompting the Ministry of Women Affairs to prioritize SDGs Goal 5 in this new dispensation. Momso Damian Detsi reports.
Call it networking or collaborations, and you won't be wrong. But the women are all at work to ensure that the SDGs Goal 5, gender equality, is achieved. The efforts to synergize and link up with the right people and organizations, one of whom is the UN Deputy Secretary General, are all geared towards affording women political, economic, and social liberation.
To have women at the center of development, to attain equality, justice, and rights. And I think that we've come a long way in Nigeria. There is so much more to do, and as you assess what we have done in this country, in Africa, and the rest of the world, we will see the successes that we've had, but we will also see the remaining gaps for which we have to rededicate ourselves for the plight of women and of children.
It's a good sign for this administration and for my presence in this ministry. I want to sincerely thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here. The good work you are doing out there in New York has really made us proud.
For the women, the next level signifies moving beyond the talk to the work. Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
Thank you, Momso. It's time for a break. More news when we return.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad. or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for staying with NTA Nationwide. Anambra State House of Assembly has urged the federal government to pay attention to federal roads which are in deplorable condition. The report.
While commending President Muhammadu Buhari on the level of work done at the Umunya Nteje Okozo axis of the Onitsha-Enugu expressway, the state of the 11 other federal roads that cut across more than 40 communities in Anambra State, the lawmakers say requires an immediate attention by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing.
Where there won't be an immediate construction job, there has to be a rehabilitation.
Putting statistics of number of persons who die daily on these federal roads. Mr. Speaker, we won't sit here and speak a lot of English.
The people that you and I in this honorable chamber represent, they are the ones that are suffering. After going through that very bad road, they will come back and spend their money to repair.
The lawmakers say as partners in progress in the Greater Nigeria project, the Anambra State House of Assembly will always complement federal government's efforts at strengthening the tenets of democracy in the country.
And this is the Enugu Agidi, Umuokwaka Amobia axis of the Enugu Onitsha expressway. And one of the federal roads, the Anambra State House of Assembly, is making a case for federal government's urgent intervention in order to alleviate the challenges being faced by motorists plying these federal roads. From Amobia, Chukunonsonwa Bweze, NTA News.
Nigerians, irrespective of faith and race, have been advised to live up to the best values of humankind. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, at the opening of a National Muslim and Christian Youth Summit in Abuja, underscored the need for peaceful and harmonious coexistence among all Nigerians. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo recounts the act of humanity of Imam Abubakar Abdullahi, the 83-year-old Muslim cleric who saved the lives of 262 Christians in June 2018 at Nga-Yelwa area of Plateau State during an attack. The Vice President also cites examples from the holy books which he says the people could emulate by showing compassion, empathy, and selflessness in dealing with others.
Yet our Constitution speaks in the clearest and highest terms of our national commitment to the equality of all Nigerians, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or status. It speaks of the imperative of all individuals and governments to respect the rights and dignity of every Nigerian. Every free nation today has these same set or similar ideals, but constitutional declarations mean nothing unless there are men and women ready to make the personal sacrifices to bridge the gap between rhetoric and constitutional ideals.
To the Muslims and the Christian youth who are organizers of the summit, it is also time to put their beliefs into practice.
That leadership role extends to being champions of peace, unity, tolerance, and understanding amongst the different tribes and faiths of today. And indeed, the future belongs to you. The greatness of that future will depend on the sacrifices that you are prepared to make. The great conflicts of our time is not between Islam and Christianity, but between extremism and human solidarity, between the forces of hate and intolerance and those of empathy and peace.
The theme of the summit is towards peaceful and harmonious Nigeria, the role of Christian and Muslim youths.
The conference is most timely, and I call on all religious leaders gathered here today that we have a very, very big role and a serious assignment on our hands as far as our youths are concerned.
Is to tell one another to appreciate that God that created all of us has a reason for giving us Nigeria.
Note, I strongly commend the constructive initiative of both Christians and Muslims youth on peace development initiatives.
I would like to appeal to the youth that, disappointed as you may feel of us who are your elders, the future is bright. If at this particular time you learn to respect one another.
Well, it is a common saying that the future belongs to the youth, but the Vice President has always insisted that the future is here, and today is the right time for the youth of the country to take up the challenge of building a greater nation. From the International Conference Center in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
On behalf of the Federal Executive Council and Nigerians in general, President Muhammadu Buhari sends condolences to the government and people of Gambia over the passing of former Gambian President Sir Jawara. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari commiserates with family members, friends and political associates of the great leader who served as Prime Minister from 1962 to 1970 and First President of the Gambia from 1970 to 1994. President Buhari affirms that Sir Jawara's visionary and courageous leadership saw the Gambia gaining its independence in 1965 and later turned into a republic in 1970. The president believes as a lawmaker, prime minister and president, the Gambian leader set the political and economic foundation for the country's rise, urging upcoming leaders in the country to always remember the personal sacrifice and contributions of Sir Jawara to the Gambia. He praised the Almighty God to grant the soul of the former president rest and comfort his family. And that concludes Nationwide today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.